So what we're going to do today is the Bell Witch, America's earliest documented poltergeist. So in the early 1800s, a Tennessee family claimed to be tormented by an invisible entity that spoke, struck, and prophesized. The Bell Witch legend endures as one of America's oldest ghost stories. Few American ghost stories have endured with the same depth of fascination as that of the Bell Witch. The 19th century haunting that reportedly tormented a Tennessee family for years. The tale has become a cornerstone of Southern folklore, revered by paranormal enthusiasts and historians alike as America's earliest and most thoroughly documented poltergeist case. The hauntings' alleged manifestations, ranging from eerie voices and violent assaults to chilling prophecies, have elevated it beyond local legend into a near mythical narrative of supernatural terror. But what makes the Bell Witch story truly compelling is not merely its sensational aspects, rather it's the volume of witnesses, written testimonies, and enduring debate surrounding the events. The haunting spanned several years in the early 1800s during a period when frontier life was raw, religion was fervent, and the supernatural was both feared and accepted as a possible truth. Even today, the Bell Witch remains a subject of documentaries, academic inquiry, and speculative research into the intersection of folklore, psychology, and the unexplained. The story begins in Adams, Tennessee, then known as Red River, along the northern part of Robertson County. The central figures were John Bell, a farmer originally from North Carolina, his wife Lucy Bell, and their large family. By 1804, the Bells had moved to Tennessee, purchasing a home and farmland on the Red River. They became respected members of the community. John was a successful planter and an elder in the local Red River Baptist Church. Around 1817, strange phenomena allegedly began troubling the Bells and their property. John Bell reportedly encountered a strange dog-like creature with a rabbit's head near his fields. Soon after, family members heard inexplicable knocking on the walls, chains dragging, and whispers in the dark. As weeks passed, the manifestation grew more violent. Blankets were pulled from beds, furniture moved on its own, and unseen hands allegedly slapped and pinched the Bell children. The entity's voice emerged gradually, first gibberish, then intellectual speech, claimed to be the spirit of a woman named Kate Batts, a local neighbor who allegedly harbored resentment against John Bell over a land dispute. The voice, called simply Kate by the family, developed a distinct personality, sardonic, mocking, sometimes compassionate, and often violent. By 1818, 1820, The Bell Witch phenomenon had moved beyond the Bell household. Friends, neighbors, and even travelers passing through Red River claimed to witness the disturbances. The spirit reportedly mimicked voices, sang hymns, and engaged in theological debates. According to many accounts, General Andrew Jackson, then later U.S. President, visited the Bell farm after hearing of the haunting. Jackson's wagon allegedly halted mysteriously near the property, and the general was said to have declared by the Eternal Boys, "This must be the Bell Witch." Though folklore embellishes Jackson's involvement, and contemporary writings acknowledge his supposed interest, the hauntings' grim climax came on December 20th, 1820, when John Bell died under mysterious circumstances. A bottle of dark liquid found near his bed was said to have contained a strange poison. According to the narrative, the entity claimed, "I gave old Jack a big dose of that last night, which fixed him." The family's accounts say that when the substance touched the cat's tongue, the animal died instantly. After John Bell's death, the disturbances quieted. The spirit reportedly bid farewell to his widow, promising to return in 7 years. True to its word, or at least to the legend, voices reappeared briefly in 1828, speaking to John Bell Jr. before vanishing again. The earliest and most influential record of the haunting is Authenticated History of the Bell Witch, 1894, by Martin Van Buren Ingram, a Clarksville journalist. Ingram claimed to have drawn from the Bell family family's own written account, particularly that of Richard Bell, John's son, who supposedly authored a manuscript titled Our Family Trouble. This manuscript, though referenced frequently, has never surfaced in full form. A few eyewitness letters and later second-hand testimonies also exist. They describe auditory phenomena, knocks, whispers, singing, visual sightings of spectral animals, and even evangelistic messages delivered by the witch. There is no verifiable physical evidence that has ever been recovered. The Bell Farm site has been excavated multiple times, but nothing conclusively supernatural has been found. However, the Bell Witch Cave, located near the original property, still attracts visitors who claim to experience inexplicable sensations, cold drafts, disembodied whispers, faint touches. The strength of the Bell Witch legend lies in its consistency across generations. Many local families preserved oral versions of the story, maintaining specific details, Kate's voice, the prophecy of Jackson's presidency, and the violent interactions that suggest a persistent, crucial memory rather than random gossip. The traditional beliefs hold that the Bell Witch was indeed a poltergeist or demonic entity targeting John Bell. Supporters note that belligerent spirit activity centered on one family, escalating with emotion, matches the classic poltergeist pattern described in European cases of the 17th and 19th centuries. Some interpretations within the paranormal community even labeled the entity as a witch's curse, perhaps connected to the alleged land dispute with Kate Batts, although historical research suggests Batts was alive long after Bell's death and never accused of witchcraft. Modern parapsychologists such as William Roll, known for his work on the Columbus poltergeist, might interpret the Bell Witch as an recurrent, spontaneous psychokinesis event, unconscious psychic activity generated by emotional stress within the family, typically a young person, often an adolescent girl, becomes a focus. Some suggest that Betsy Bell, John's daughter, could have been the unconscious catalyst. Others argue the entire episode may have been a collective delusion. Exaggerated by isolation, religious fever, and gossip. Frontier communities had strong oral traditions and a tendency to interpret misfortune through spiritual lenses. Still, others proposed that Betsy Bell or other family members fabricated incidents to harm John Bell's reputation, or that Ingram, decades later, embellished or even invented parts of the tale for commercial success. The haunting may represent the clash between rational enlightenment and frontier faith, reflecting moral anxieties about sin, authority, and divine punishment. Religious scholars have drawn parallels between the Bell Witch's moralizing voice and early American revivalist preaching, suggesting that the witch symbolized internalized guilt or communal tension rather than an external force. Today, the legacy of the Bell Witch endures in both tourism and cultural fascination. The Bell Witch Cave in Adams, Tennessee, operates as a heritage site and alleged paranormal hotspot. Visitors claim to hear faint voices or experience sudden cold chills near the old burial ground. Every October, the community holds the Bell Witch Festival, drawing tourists, historians, and ghost hunters. Academic interest continues. Folklorists view the stories as a living example of evolving oral tradition, while paranormal investigators treat it as a case study in unexplained phenomena. Skeptics regard it as a cautionary tale about folklore becoming mistaken for fact. Yet, despite over 2 centuries of scrutiny, no single explanation satisfies all aspects of the legend. Whether a genuine haunting, a social psychodrama, or enduring allegory of Southern Americana, the Bell Witch remains one of the most compelling and haunting chapters in U.S. folklore history. A specter echoing across generations, whispering through the fields of Tennessee that the line between myth and reality is thinner than we might believe.